First up, we need a Gargoyle Pokemon, and what better candidate than Gligar and Gliscor. These are two Pokemon desperately in need of some more love, and an awesome redesign like these would be perfect. We might even get a new evolution out of it. We'd switch them to Rock and Flying types, which historically may not be the best typing, but Gliscor has always had amazing coverage with the Elemental Fang moves, and we'd of course replace its ability, as Poison Heal doesn't make much sense if it's not a Scorpion. So what do we switch it to? Well, gargoyles were put on castles in order to intimidate evil spirits and drive them off, so we give it one of the best abilities in the game, Intimidate. We could even combine this with Parting Shot to make it one of the ultimate crowd control Pokemon alongside Incineroar. An alternate Pokemon we could use is Sigilif, which is said to be a guardian of an ancient city and a Pokédex entry, but the gargoyle idea is just too perfect for the French aesthetic, so Gliscor it is. The next idea is a Stonjourner redesigned as a steel type with a more chivalrous and armor-plated design. Since Legends ZA is taking place exclusively in Lumio City, these all need the theme of a French Industrial Revolution. However, these Pokemon also need to be extinct by the time X and Y rolled around, so a medieval-themed Pokemon is a great way to represent how Kalos changed over the centuries. So giving Stonjourner an illustrious and regal armor design would be just the makeover that it needs from its rustic Galarian form, and it would make it a great yin to Aegislash's yang. After all, Aegislash is a ghost type, which could represent how it's a relic of a bygone era, and Stonjourner could be used to show off how the French monarchy lived in its prime, having a gorgeously clean Pokemon to show off chivalry and honor. You could also switch its typing to Steel and make Heavy Slam have Stab, which would be super deadly on one of the heaviest Pokemon in the franchise. If we want to go more directly inspired by Paris where the game will take place, then we could even redesign it as the Arc de Triomphe, as the shape of the Pokemon already matches, though I'm not sure how that translates to typing, but it would be thematically excellent. If the whole game truly does take place exclusively in Lumio City, then there has to be an underground section of the game, and while this might open up the possibility of a Catacombs and skeletal-inspired Gengar and Mismagius, I think we're a long way from Lavender Town and Pokemon directly acknowledging the concept of death. So I think a sewer level is more likely, and the French sewers are famous for their rats due to things like the plague, and what Pokemon could best represent a plague rat? Well, how about one that's the total opposite of what you'd think a filthy diseased rat to be? Cincino and Mincino are two elegant and extravagant Pokemon that I'd honestly like to see get knocked down a peg, so what if we take their shiny and illustrious coats and turn them into filthy rags and make them look rabid and feral? We'd switch them to poison types and give them moves like Gunk Shot and Poison Jab, as the plague was spread through bites, so they should still be physical attackers. As for abilities, we can't keep Skill Link, and the obvious choice is Poison Touch, but I personally find that ability annoying, as regular poison is easily the least intrusive status effect, and I would rather give my opponents a status condition more impactful. So what if we take a unique ability and give it to Cincino, Mimikyu's Disguise, where Unnovan Cincino takes great pride in its appearance, Colossian Cincino would have no regard for what foul trash it tangled itself in, and taking one hit would destroy its filthy outer shell. And if we're going to make one beautiful Pokemon disgusting, then let's make an ugly Pokemon gorgeous, with another underrepresented Pokemon, Carnivine. Seriously, this Pokemon is so neglected, I can't even find decent in-game footage of it. By turning it into a Lavender Vine, which would be a female-only evolution of Colossian Carnivine. Picture it as sort of a grass version of Salazzle, with its flytrap smile becoming a sort of confident smirk, with purple lavender vines wrapped around its body forming a dress, with those same purple lavender vines giving it a feminine hairstyle. It would fill the role of a support Pokemon, with its own unique setup move in the vein of Stealth Rocks and Sticky Web. It would be called Lavender Bed, and any Pokemon that switches into your opponent's side of the field would have their accuracy lowered by 1. Now I know that sounds broken and annoying as hell, so it would have the same weakness as Toxic Spikes, and disappear if a Grass-type Pokemon took the field, but to add to its support capabilities, it would also get Sunny Day and Spore. So what ability would we give Lavender Vine? Personally, I think Flower Gift, which is Cherrim's signature ability that powers up attacks and special attack in the harsh sunlight, which is a nice double-edged sword, as it gains an attack boost for its ally, but also makes it easier to be KO'd by super effective fire-type attacks. I'm almost out of time, so I'll just give my quick predictions for the starters who will definitely be getting Kalosian forms. A Napoleon Empoleon, which is self-explanatory, Superior as a French noblewoman with a dragon typing, and finally Cinderace, who gains a flying type since France's soccer team is called the Blues, and it fits with the sports theming. I'll be back in 2 days. In the meantime, here's a video about why Pokemon Black and White's story is incredible.